2010. You're listening to WICR.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sacks in the Morning for the second NFL segment of the afternoon. Right of the morning, I should say. Wow. It's only 9:40 and this day is already getting away from me. I'm starting this segment off looking at the AFC North. That division, no real team has been able to distance itself from the pack so far. You have all four teams who are over 500, and really, when you look at that, that's something in itself to really think, wow, that's great. Four teams, and they are all over 500. There are no gimme games against any team from the AFC North. Now, looking at their four games from over the weekend, the Cincinnati Bengals hung on for a 14-13 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Cleveland Browns fell 26-10 to the Buffalo Bills. The Baltimore Ravens lost by 1 point, 34-33 to the San Diego Chargers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers dropped a game to the New Orleans Saints, 35-32. Now, with these games, with the Bengals being the only team to win, they now really establish themselves in the driver's seat for the division. I believe they have a game-and-a-half lead over the other teams in the division, and really to be able to hold on to the lead against Tampa Bay, coming back from down 10-0, going up against a team that if you want to assert yourself as a very good football team, you have to beat. Now, I like the Bucs a lot, but just seeing this, Cincinnati, if they want to take it to the next level, if they want to be able to say, we can ground and pound with the New Englands, with the Indianapolises, with the Denvers, in the AFC, this is a game that you cannot lose. And no matter what it took to get it done, they were able to win this game, hang on by 1 point, and move to 8-3-1. So now, really, with 4 games to go, a game-and-a-half lead, it is looking very good for Cincinnati to repeat as division champions. Going on, let's move on to Pittsburgh now. Pittsburgh, I think, is the most up-and-down team in the NFL. You can have Ben Roethlisberger 1 week throw for 6 touchdowns and look outstanding, and then just like in this game, going up against a very marginal at best Saints defense and not get the job done. Pittsburgh, yes, they have outstanding wins. I think it was Roethlisberger on maybe about a month or so ago, just putting together, I think it was back-to-back games of 6 touchdowns, and just looking sensational. Since then, they've lost to the Jets, and now they lose to the Saints in Pittsburgh. The Saints, who are not that good at all, only 5-7 now, but really, and losing big in this game too, needing 19 points in the fourth quarter just to make it close. Pittsburgh, if they want to get into the playoffs, they have to establish some stability and say, you know what, we are a good team on a regular basis, as opposed to we can be great, we can be terrible. They don't even really have to establish themselves as a great team the way that they did have some games like earlier this year. They just have to establish themselves as a consistently good team. And I'm not seeing that out of Pittsburgh, so I really do not think that they're going to be able to go anywhere with their season. We'll jump over to the Ravens now before going to the Browns. The Ravens 34-33 losers to the San Diego Chargers. Ravens now fall to 7-5. Big fourth quarter by the Chargers, scoring 21 points, and to Baltimore's 10 in the final period. The Chargers are a solid, good football team. They really are. Now moving to 8-4, and really what I take away from this is that Baltimore, yes, they're a consistently solid team, but it seems like they're just kind of getting the job done. And now, of course, just short of that on Sunday, losing by 1 point. But they have not done anything this year to wow me. And seeing that, I don't think that they'll be able to put together an outstanding month of December to move into the playoff picture. I don't, maybe a wild card, but even that's going to be difficult. You have San Diego right there in the mix. The Chargers now one game up on Baltimore and owning the tiebreaker. But then at 7-5, you just have a lot of good teams. You've got Kansas City, you've got Pittsburgh, you've got Baltimore, you've got Cincinnati. And really, it's going to be very interesting to see how all these teams match up. Do the Ravens have a chance at claiming one of those wild card spots? Certainly, but I think that they are going to have to do a little more than just getting the job done. Now, the final fourth team in the AFC North, you have the Cleveland Browns losing to the Buffalo Bills 26-10. Both teams now 7-5, and the fourth quarter 12-7 for Buffalo. Well, really, the second half, all of Buffalo's points coming in the second half. We had a great defensive game in the first half. It was 3-0 Cincinnati. 3-0 Cleveland, 3-0 Cleveland at halftime. And then the Buffalo offense went to work, scoring 2 touchdowns in the third quarter and then 4 field goals in the fourth quarter. Dan Carpenter, very good for fantasy-wise yesterday. 4 touchdowns. 4 field goals, But the big storyline here, Johnny Manziel enters the game in the fourth quarter in the second half for Brian Hoyer, leads a touchdown drive in the fourth, to cut the lead to 10, or cut the deficit to 10 with 8 minutes and 47 seconds left. So, the media got what they wanted. They were able to see Manziel, and he leads a touchdown scoring drive. But it is such a small sample. That I do not think that the coaching staff can be justified in saying, you know what, Manziel led us through through the fourth quarter here, and put together that scoring drive. I don't think they can be justified in putting starting Manziel over Hoyer this coming week. I think you have to look at the season as a whole. Hoyer led you to a 7-5 record. Manziel led you on 1 good scoring drive. Now, granted, did Manziel look good? Yes, but did he look absolutely stop the presses? This has to be our quarterback right now? No. Now, not taking anything away from Johnny Manziel. Manziel did have a very good drive there, but he did not wow me so much where I'm saying to myself, wow, he has to be the starting quarterback. I think that you still have to go with the girl that got you to the dance, and that's Brian Hoyer. Manziel was on the bench for pretty much all those 7 wins. And, he comes in fourth quarter down, 20-3, puts together a one scoring drive, and all of a sudden he's the starting quarterback? I don't think so. I think you have to stick with Hoyer. You have to look at what's been successful so far this year, and that's been Brian Hoyer. Now, just quickly touching on the other games, the Atlanta Falcons 29-18 winners over the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals dropping to 9-3, now tied for the 1 seed in the NFC with Green Bay, and really, back-to-back losses for Arizona. They still have a matchup with Seattle. I think the wheels are falling off for the Cardinals and falling off quickly. Only 1 game ahead of Seattle, and as I just said, they have a matchup there. They right now, I don't think that they're going to win the division. I think it's going to be Seattle. And as for making the playoffs as a wild card, who knows? They might fall out of it completely. They've been flying under the radar all year. Then they get to 9-1, and everybody, really starts talking about them. They lose 2 straight. I think that with their quarterback situation, that is not good there, and they're finally showing some flaws. And it's unfortunate. Bruce Arians done a sensational job there, but I think the luck is running out this year. Speaking of luck, Andrew Luck, another sensational game yesterday, leading the Colts to a 49-27 victory over the Washington Redskins. The Redskins, an inferior team, Colts had to win there. Sticking with the Colts and the AFC South, Houston Texans picking up a 45-21 victory over the Tennessee Titans. What I take away from this game, J.J. Watt is just an absolute monster and such a phenomenal, sensational athlete. He can do it on offense. He can do it on defense. He is, right now, I'd say maybe the best all-around football player in the NFL. And sticking finally, the last team in the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars, 25-24 winners over the New York Giants. Just so indicative of the way the Giants season has been going. They're leading all game, and then they give it up big at the end. It just looks like the Giants are, everything's unraveling for them quickly. Now dropping to 3-9 and just not looking good at all for Big Blue. The Minnesota Vikings picking up a very nice 31-13 win over the Carolina Panthers. The Vikings, they are I don't want to say dangerous team, but they're solid. They had a bad start. I think they started 2-5, but since then 3-2, I believe, which moves their record to 5-7. They're obviously not going to make the playoffs, but really not an easy game for anybody now, and they could very much factor into the playoff scenario coming down the stretch, maybe costing a team a game that could ultimately knock them out of the playoffs. The And finally, the last game, really not surprising that I saved this game for the end. The St. Louis Rams 52-0 winners over the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders just an abominably horrible team, and the Rams a pretty solid organization there, or at least a decent organization there, and really just taking it to the Raiders, very much getting the job done. So that is your NFL recap. Taking a quick break now, and then we are on to college football, and Jersey Joe will come over and join.
Hi, this is Victor Cruz, Super Bowl champion New York Giants, and I got to get my ICTV.
This is WICR.